Okay, so Masquerade is still my favorite episode. I don't think so far that the show really will ever top Masquerade. But, interestingly, episode 7 of season 1 was my least favorite episode of season 1. But I think episode 7 of season 2 is probably my favorite episode of season 2 and probably my second favorite episode of the entire series. I think before this one, I was saying Overture was my second favorite. And Overture is really fantastic. But this one, what's it called? Weapon of Mass Destruction, yeah. Weapon of Mass Distraction. I was like, wait, D-I-S? That's not how you spell destruction. Weapon of Mass Distraction. Clever. I think. Is it? Yeah, so this one, oh my, yeah, this is just packed. It's packed in a really good way. Like, the thing about season 1 is I feel like they were really rushing to get done everything they needed to do for that finale, which was really just a big battle. And a battle in itself is not very interesting. And so I wasn't very interested or invested in episode 8 of season 1 either. I just kind of felt like that season almost sort of ended on a dud of a week. And I felt let down, especially after the big high that we ended on with episode 6 with the whole meeting in heaven. That was really mind-blowing with, there's no question to be posed, he's unholy, case closed. Did you forget that hell is forever? Like, wow, what intensity there. And then it goes from that to, Out for Love. It's like, okay. Which happens, like, so far into the episode, you're like, when are we gonna get a song? It was just a weird, and there were plot holes in it, like, the whole thing with Vaggie not knowing that angelic steel can kill angels, even though she was permanently blinded in one eye by angelic steel, which must mean that it has the power to mutilate an angel, so why can't it kill an angel? Like, it just didn't make any sense. It's a plot hole. People have tried to explain it away, but it really is a plot hole. Just like the one that nobody ever talks about in the previous episode, which didn't ruin the episode for me, but it's noticeable, which is that, like, why did they let Charlie speak in front of a whole host of the elders of heaven when they're not supposed to know about the exterminations, and the exterminations are a huge part of why she's even doing the Has-Been Hotel? That doesn't make sense either. Nobody ever talks about that plot hole. They talk about the plot hole with angelic steel all the time. But this one, okay, so, yeah, and Lucifer apparently doesn't know that he can be killed, which doesn't make sense in this one. Weapons of Mass Distraction. Weapon of Mass Distraction. He's like, you can't kill me. It's like, didn't you join in late to a battle where demons were killing angels, and you're an angel, so why do you think that you can't be killed? That doesn't make any sense. But he's kind of an idiot, and he's very out of touch. He's very checked out. So maybe he just forgot. I wouldn't put it past him at this point. He's kind of dumb, which I don't mind. I like that Charlie is kind of dumb too. Like, these are not smart characters, really. They're just really fun characters. And they're able to be likable even though they're not very smart. But here was a weird one. Vox, I guess, was a serial killer in life. Good song. I liked I think it's called Brighter, was the song. Come on. Jesus. I still don't know how to manually focus this camera, so I just rely on autofocus. Wow, that is... Really? That's the best you can do? Are you getting worse? I feel like my camera is getting worse at focusing. I've never had this problem before. It's just gonna stop there? Come on. Wow. What is it? Do I just blend into the background? What the hell is wrong? Okay. Finally, Jesus Christ. What was that? Still not perfect, but it's like, it's okay. Okay. Yeah, the thing is, when he was talking about being a cult leader, I thought, oh, that's cool. Like, that's how we got into hell, was by just being a manipulative televangelist. And probably, like, you know, ruining people's lives, abusing them, stuff like that. But then this episode is... It's like, oh no, he was just a serial killer. Now, he was kind of a cult leader, but it's like an entertainment cult, and it was like, what? It was really confusing the message, I think. Confusing the backstory that they were going for with this. I thought it all made sense, because the serial killer thing, that was Alistair's thing. To me, Alistair is the serial killer. Vox I don't really see as a serial killer, and so it was weird that it was weird that they didn't have a better way of bringing something original to this character and showing that he's not Alistair, and really playing into his public-facing persona aspect. It was weird that they were just like, nah, he kills people. What's interesting about that? We already had that with the Alistair backstory. And with Alistair, it makes sense, because Alistair is a freaky cannibal guy who is like a total psychopath. And so, yeah, like, you totally see him being a serial killer. Vox, I don't see that with him. He seems more like a guy who wants to keep people alive so he can control them and hypnotize him. So the cult leader thing made way more sense, but they try to blend it together and it just gets confused. I don't know what the nature of this cult is. I feel like I know less about him after seeing his backstory. So while the song was good and it was well animated, I don't care for this backstory that they presented. Yeah, you have Angel Dust being hypnotized. They didn't really do much with Angel this season, which is okay, I think, because he was really a big focus in the last season. He got a lot of development. He was really my favorite character in season 1, and in this season, like, he's just straight up no longer my favorite character, because they really didn't do anything with him, and he just kind of is in the background, and he's not very interesting. So they, you know, this is a way for them to give him kind of a role in it, but it doesn't really amount to much. We do see at the end of episode 8 that it's setting up more conflict for him in season 3, with him feeling like he betrayed the hotel and he can't be trusted. And it makes sense that he feels this way because he feels so disempowered in life. And I really like that line where he says, you know, the last real choice that I made was selling my soul. That's a powerful line. I really like that line, because it really, yeah, that sums up his mentality, and it's natural for him to feel that way. And I like that in episode 8, it wasn't just a battle. it was a heist with hacking elements. That made it a lot more interesting. I didn't care for just the battle, fight deal in season 1. So the fact that it was a lot more than that, you had different people doing different things. You had really a lot going on in episode 8. And then at the same time, the action storyboarding was way better than it was in the last episode of season 1. I was really impressed that, like, you would think the big battle would be where they would want to really show off their fight choreography, storyboarding. But it didn't really end up that way. You got a bit of that with Lute and Vaggie fighting each other in season 1, but really the rest of it was kind of boring. This one just goes all out, and you have the whole fight between Nifty and Velvet, and you find out that Velvet's a mannequin, which was a huge twist. You had Nifty and Velvet fighting, you had Cherry Bomb and Husk fighting Valentino. That was really cool. You had so many fights going on, and they were all really epic. Oh my fucking god, the fight between Alistair and Vox, that was epic. And I'm not an action fan, but like the story was so compelling that it made this action really hit for me. It was amazing finally seeing Alistair, because the show does a good job of making you really want Alistair to win, even though he's a psychopath who really isn't out for anyone but himself. For some reason, you still really want him to win. You want to see him get what he wants, which is full power and mystique and this kind of the fear of everyone. And I like the fact that he's not willing to help out at the end because just like Vox was ready to take everyone down and himself down in order to defeat Alistair, which was his big wound. Alistair was like, life, death, who gives a shit? But if you want me to help, fix my staff for me. And he was willing to put everything on the line for that, which really shows where his head is at. Like, he's like, living in hell ain't worth shit unless I'm on top, unless I'm the guy. And that was really what inspired him to make that deal with Rosie at the beginning. He was like, I want to be the guy. And so, I'm willing to sacrifice everything for that. Makes total sense for his character that he would do that. We still don't know why Rosie had the power to make him the guy, and we don't know how he was able to seal that deal with Rosie by getting Charlie to say that Vox is the most powerful sinner in hell. What? How did that happen? How did he unclip his wings with that? I like that we finally get a resolution on the deal he made with Charlie in season 1, which I forgot about. I only like rediscovered it like a week or two ago after episode 4 came out, because I was like, oh yeah, he did make a deal with Charlie, didn't he? And it was a vague deal, just like, do a favor where you hurt nobody whenever I ask. And that was it. And why was that? Why did that finish Rosie's plan? I have no idea. Because yeah, you see that shot of him, and it's like the chain comes off of his neck. Rosie is like surprised. Like, it was clearly indicating that the deal was sealed. That, like, that Rosie's plan for him was fulfilled in some way. But what was that? What was the plan? I like how the deal with Vox was sealed in this one too. How it was, he laid his hands on, and I remember thinking when he made that deal, it was like, well, wait a minute, if you don't want anyone to hurt Charlie, then why don't you say that in the deal? Because technically Vox could hurt Charlie, but not lay his hands on her. And then that could technically get him out of the, on a technicality, right? I didn't realize that Alistair was planning for this. He was planning for Vox to interpret it as, I can't hurt Charlie. But actually it was literally just, you can't touch her. And so he was planning on Vox to eventually touch her, thinking that that wouldn't break the deal. I didn't put that together. I thought that it was somehow important for Alistair's plan that Vox didn't hurt Charlie. And so I thought, why was he so vague with the wording there? But it was like, no, that was not at all important to him. He didn't give a shit whether Vox hurt Charlie. The wording was vague in order to trick Vox. That is just so, that's such a great twist. And that's perfectly in character for Alistair. And that's why I love the way that whole thing ended. Valentino ripping Vox's TV head off of his body, which, by the way, you find out why he has a TV head. It's because a TV landed on his head and killed him, which I never made that connection before. Yeah, I mean, that was gory. Did you see the way he just ripped it off? And I swear I saw blood come out. I wouldn't have expected that. I would have expected it to just be like wires and electric plugs, like, but no, it was like gory. It was like, just, and I like the fact that he was just able to, he could have done that at any time. He just ripped the TV head off, and then I guess now he has no body. He's just a TV, which is really funny. I hope we see him in season 3 and he's just a TV chilling in Valentino's room. That could be really funny. I like the fact that Vox didn't die. None of the V's died in this. I was expecting them all to die, or at least for Vox to die. Nope, they're still alive. And even Valentino helping and joining in at the end, joining Charlie, like they're on the same side. It was just, like, it made sense for the character, but it was just so funny. It was so weird to see. And even Valentino getting a kind of, like, sincere moment in a song. I like the fact that it's given this guy who everyone really hated in season 1, especially after Masquerade. We're able to just kind of, he's just one of the characters. I really have come to like Sarah now. Which is funny because I hated Sarah in season 1. These last 2 episodes have really shown her, given her more personality, giving her more character, really showing her in a hard situation. And I like the plan she comes to in the end. Like, all right, we're gonna work with both Lute and Emily. So, like, Emily has 24 hours to figure this out, and if she can't figure it out, then we turn to Lute. Made sense. And I love how the songs in, like, especially the last song in this episode 7 had a lot of reprisals of previous songs. And we also get the song between Serpentius and Sarah, which, I mean, that's really interesting, seeing Sarah and Serpentius become friends. and develop a relationship. And it makes sense. And Serpentius has become so smart and so wise lately. He's really grown a lot as a character when he was really kind of stupid at the start of the series, and I like seeing that. It feels natural. But at the end, there's a reprise of It Starts With Sorry, and I really loved that song in season 1. It was a great song, very beautiful, and so I love seeing it come back again, and we see just how much that moment meant for his character. It was a real turning point for him as a person, and he's brought it up before in this season as well. Just how much that message meant to him. Which is really powerful, and it's powerful that he was able to use that to reach Sarah as well. And then we get reprises of once we get up there. Vox has a little reprise of that, and that's probably been my favorite song of season 2, because it's the one that gets stuck in my head the most. And it reminds me a lot of a song from Muppets Most Wanted called We're Doing a Sequel, which is also a really great song. Uses very, very similar melody, like the same. I think We're Doing a Sequel goes, we're doing a sequel, da 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 da, we're doing a sequel. And then this one is like, once we get up there, da 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 da. Very similar. It's a little bit darker, but it basically uses the same melody. It's very catchy, and those songs kind of blend in my head together when they get stuck in my head throughout the day. I go back and forth between them, and I really like it a lot. And so it's nice. We got a reprise already of that song in episode 4 when he's singing to Alistair. We got another one in episode 7. I'm like, wow, they're really just like, some people might not like it because it's repetitive, but to me it's just like, oh yeah, they recognize that was just a great song and they want to keep coming back to it. And I love the fact that that's one of the strengths of this as a musical ongoing series, is they have a lot of time and a lot of songs to work with. And that gives them the ability to really incorporate a lot of leitmotifs and build up a whole kind of musical language with callbacks in a way that is harder for just a straight up show, a one and done show, because you only have that limited runtime. This is it really has a lot of freedom in that way, and they're really taking advantage of their freedom here. And we also get a reprise of Gravity in that same song, and this is the first time we hear Patrick Stump singing, and he gets another great moment in the song in episode 8. And yeah, he's great. He's a great singing voice for this character. I actually think Abel is probably the character I relate to the most in this show, because his struggle feels the most similar to the kind of struggles I've had in my life. And actually his sort of redemption in episode 8 kind of mirrors something that's been going on in my life lately too. And yeah, and I like that moment in episode 8 because that's all it took was him just standing up to Lute. And really, there's nothing Lute can do at that point, because she knows that she can't disobey Abel. You know, she can disrespect Abel, but she really just can't disobey him, because if she does, that jeopardizes her whole relationship with heaven. And she's just not willing to go that far. She really does care about being among the elect in heaven. That's something that really matters to her. And I like the fact that she isn't willing to just go totally fallen angel yet. Which was a setup that I thought maybe we were leading to, that Lute could be the next fallen angel. Interesting that they decided this was not yet the opportunity for that. It didn't make sense quite for her character to put everything on the line in that moment. And I like they are holding back in certain ways. They didn't show Lilith yet. Everyone thought they would show Lilith in season 2 because they showed her at the end of season 1. We're like, okay, Lilith's going to be in season 2. No, she wasn't. We saw her one time. She didn't have a line. But she's definitely going to be in season 3 because she called Charlie at the end, finally. That's been just the thing they've been teasing us with the whole time. And I like the fact that they know they still need to build up anticipation for her, because a lot of people were hyped for her in season 1. I wasn't. I didn't give a shit. But with the amount that they've been talking about her in season 2, in a way they weren't talking about her in season 1, now I'm actually hyped. And now the little tease at the end is actually very interesting to me. So they're holding back on that. They held back on killing the V's. The V's aren't dead. Yeah, it's just, and everything about these 2 episodes was just a perfect way to end it. Alistair really being taken down a peg in episode 4 really hurts, because you're like, you want this guy to succeed, as I said. And so it felt so good to see him really come back and be unlimited again. And his staff was still broken in his fight with Vox, but then his staff is fixed by the end, so you know that in season 3 he's really going to be at his full capacity. And it would be interesting to see him become a villain in season 3, you know? Because that's always been a real setup for him, is the potential that he has of becoming a villain. Yeah, and Carmine's incorporation in this, everything about the characters and all of their relationships is really just well integrated in these 2 episodes. There is so much interconnectivity in kind of the way I loved in the songs like You Didn't Know and The House of Asmodeus from Hell of a Boss. There is so much interconnectivity in the relationships between all of these characters, and they all come together properly. This one does it, though not in song form precisely, just the whole stretch of these 2 episodes really is just that. It's a lot of interconnected relationships, and all coming to a head in this big climactic moment. And the big coming together cornball thing at the end worked. It didn't feel too like it was really in danger of being kind of like, I watched that movie K-Pop Demon Hunters recently, and I liked it, but I didn't like it as much as other people did. And like that ending scene in that is it's that same cornball coming together deal, where they're restoring the Honmun, I believe is what they call. This one just felt earned. Like it was very much in danger of feeling. Actually, it kind of felt cornball in season 1, when like Husk and all the other guys are like singing that song to Charlie to try to encourage her, and they're rebuilding the hotel. That almost felt a little bit like, okay, tone it down a bit. But with here, it's literally life or death. Like, everyone has to chip in here. It's not like they believe in solidarity for its own sake. It was justified that they find solidarity in this moment because this is going to destroy the whole at least the pride ring. You know, it's like a huge fucking explosion that they all have to stop. And yeah, collectively they're able to use their angelic and demonic powers to do that. Logically, it just made sense, and I like the fact that right after they're done with that, and it gives Charlie that moment feeling like I've won, you know, and that was good for her. But then right after they're done with that, they're like, we're not gonna talk about this again, are we? No. Because they're all kind of embarrassed that this just happened, because they're all edgy demons and they don't like this feeling of wholesome solidarity. And they want to go back to hating and fighting each other and ripping each other off. And so I like the fact that you kind of were able to justify it in both ways. You had the best of both worlds there. It wasn't totally cornball because it made logical sense in the moment, even though it still gives Charlie this great feeling of wholesome victory that she's always wanted. So I think that's all of my thoughts for these 2 episodes. Incredible way to end season 2. I think season 2 overall is definitely stronger, story-wise and everything, style-wise, than season 1. I still think that the songs in season 1 probably stand out a little bit more. But the songs in season 2 were really good in their own right, and we had more of them. So even if they don't all stand out, we had more of them, and that also helps smooth things over. So yeah, overall, I like season 2 more than season 1, and I thought that this way of ending it was way, way, way stronger than season 1's ending. And I just feel really satisfied now in the way I didn't feel satisfied when season 1 ended. I was like, oh, that's it? We gotta wait how long to get more of this? This, I can be like, okay, we got a perfect ending for this season. I'm really excited for more, but I can wait now because it just gave me a lot to end on it in a way that made me happy. So yeah, those are my thoughts. And then I guess there's this live on Broadway show that they did, 45 minutes. I'll check that out. If I have something to say about it, I'll stitch it to the end of this video. If not, then this will be the end of the video. Okay, I actually do have stuff to say about it. That was the cutest, most adorable thing I've ever seen in my life. One thing that I have really found remarkable about this show is watching the cast interviews, like the group interviews they do. There is so much positive energy with these cast members. I've always gotten the sense that everyone who works on this show is so excited for this show. And that's actually something they bring up in this event. I can't remember who said it, but he said that, like, if you're a fan of Has-Been Hotel, then you are a big fan of Has-Been Hotel. And it's just overwhelming, the sense that you get from these actors that they are big fans of this project. And this was just such a treat to watch, because I know that all of them love performing on stage. I mean, so many of these people are Broadway actors. Some of them are Tony Award-winning Broadway actors. And they also love the show so much and the songs. So to see them all come together and be able to be together on stage performing these live is like, it feels like a dream come true. And for Vivian herself, I mean, she was crying when she showed up. And like, I get it, like being overwhelmed by that emotion, because for her, I mean, you can imagine this is like beyond her wildest expectations. As a Broadway fan who was also a cartoon drawer, someone who, you know, always had dreams and ambitions of doing a musical show, and not just to be able to bring that to life in cartoon form, but then actually bring it to the stage with all of these great Broadway performers, and be a part of that herself, be in on the show herself. I mean, it's amazing to see, and all the audience members were all dressed up, and they were having such a good time. One thing that I love about this is that they played with the whole theater. It wasn't just the stage being the focal point. All of the actors were all going up and down the aisles and in the mezzanine area and the balconies, and the cameras were following them everywhere. And it was like a multimedia event. It was more than just a live performance. It was done with the understanding for staging and blocking in a recorded setting, and that gave them so much more three-dimensionality to the performance. And it was a real treat for the audience, because they had direct interaction with these actors, and it felt like they were all in it together. And there's a lot of trust, I think, with the actors and the audience members, because like everyone knows they're all like enthusiastic about this. And so like there's nobody there who wasn't enthusiastic about this project. And so everyone just kind of felt like they were in it together. There was a lot of ad-libbing, and I gotta say, like, oh my god, Blake Roman is fucking fantastic as Angel Dust. He just killed it singing Poison. The dude is fucking handsome as hell, just charismatic as hell. And they even, I love hearing Amir Talai and Sam Haft. I think they were talking about how it's hilarious that the dude is so attractive doing that silly voice of his as Angel Dust. And oh my god, dude, the other huge star performance in this was, for me, Christian Borle. You can tell that guy's a Tony Award winner. He nailed Stayed Gone, and I was thinking, oh my god, they're really gonna do Stayed Gone live? Because that's a song you can tell in the actual show, the TV show, it's very edited, and he's kind of singing on top of himself in these cut clips. And it's like, how is he going to replicate that live? The dude nailed it perfectly. And Amir Talai also singing that same song with him. They fucking killed it so fast. And they made it work. Same thing with Christian Borle and, what's his name? Jeremy Jordan doing Hell's Greatest Dad. Just such a fast song. Killed it. They did it perfectly. Yeah, so oh my god, I was so sad to see that Alex Brightman couldn't make it. In fact, I skipped the Piss, a Love Song section, because I just couldn't bear to see them do that song without Alex Brightman. And I asked ChatGPT, like, why couldn't Alex Brightman do that show? And it was like, I don't know, but I know he was doing Beetlejuice. So apparently in October, Alex Brightman started up a new run of Beetlejuice. And so that makes sense why he couldn't make it, because it's like a 13-week thing that he's doing. I guess if it's yeah, they're probably still doing it now. So everything, like, he would have been booked that whole time and had no time for rehearsals, no time to do the show. And that's such a shame, because you really feel him absent from Gravity. And I did watch the Gravity section because I know that, like, as important as Alex is to that song, it's really about the other, I think, what is her name? Something Voss, or Vosk, the actress who plays Lute. I'm not totally familiar with that actress yet. She really killed it in the song, but I was like, where's Alex Brightman? Because he's the guy who really fills in that song, and it would have been so much more powerful to see him on stage with her, like, really, because he's such a good, like, he's good at acting with his body while singing, and he could have really added that, I think. And he has such a distinctive voice, and he sings with that really distinctive voice that's just so him, that, man, it was such a shame to not see him there. And I know he would have loved to be able to do the show if he could. And so it was just tragic. Like I said, I skipped the duet with Cherry Bomb because it was just too painful not to see him there in a song that he was clearly like that. It's clearly that the show was planned to have him there, and he wasn't. Also absent was Keith David, which I can understand more because he's old as shit, and he's not really much of a stage actor. But I thought it was cool that they incorporated that into the show in a way where since they knew Keith David wouldn't be there, they were like, well, Loser Baby is everyone's favorite song. They knew that about that song, that, like, it tops the list of people's favorite songs. Like, probably about 50% of the fans, Loser Baby is their favorite. So they were like, well, why don't we make that everyone's song at the end? And they made it a huge sing-along where it was the audience singing Loser Baby. And that just made perfect sense. It's a great way to end it. Yeah, the costumes were just so fun. I loved Christian Borle's glittery blue outfit. God, I can't emphasize enough how much I loved Christian Borle's performance. And that's really, like, when I say that I love seeing the cast interviews for this show. What's really what I love about it is that it's like theater kids grown up who are, like, now they're actual theater actors and very famous theater actors, but they're still theater kids, and they interact with each other in that very, like, silly, playful, almost overbearing kind of way where it's like, oh God, like, I don't think I would be able to handle being in a room with these guys. But for them, they're all feeding off of each other's energy, and it gets more and more intense. That sense of camaraderie in that, and excitement and, like, just hyperactivity is very, very, like, drama class, I think. A lot of people report that kind of thing who have done stuff like that. And so it's really funny to see that these are, you know, grown-ups who are actually successful in this business, but still that's really where they come from. Apparently, this is Amir Talai's Broadway debut. I had no idea. I don't know where Viv discovered it. I know he's been in a production of Annie, because I've seen that video floating around. I don't know where she discovered him, if he wasn't a Broadway actor, like what other kind of theater projects he was doing. I just assumed that he had a Broadway debut already, but apparently not. And then, oh my God, the reveal of Richard Horvitz at the end of Hell's Greatest Dad was the funniest shit ever. Because I remember when he was getting to the end of that song, I was like, oh yeah, Mimsy is in this. What are they gonna do? Like, is she gonna pop out and the fans go crazy? Because I don't even know who plays Mimsy. She's never in the cast interviews. I don't even know that person. And so the reveal that it was actually it was Richard Horvitz comes out on stage himself in his Broadway debut. That was just the funniest twist they could have come up with, because his voice works for that range anyway. and the name of his character is Moxie, which is kind of similar to Mimsy, so he was able to say Moxie. Yeah, and I love that he and Vivian and Sam Haft were all part of the production too. The voice director and the show director, creator, and the songwriter were all part of the show. And yeah, it's just so, like I said, it was the cutest thing I've ever seen. It was just, everyone was so excited for it. And so yeah, I mean, it's not enough that apparently that season 2 ended spectacularly. This just is an excellent little gift that they gave us on top of it. And I'm sure that the clips from this are going to surface on YouTube soon, and they're going to rack up many views. I'm probably going to watch these clips over and over, these live performances, because I love seeing the real actors in the flesh do these actual songs. There's something just so special about it.